Sales doesn't need to be hard or overcomplicated. That's not my way of saying that sales is easy. Rather, I'm saying that you can have a successful career in sales if you develop a process and execute on it consistently. This channel is dedicated to what a sales process framework could look like and showcasing the different best and worst practices around the different steps of a sales process. The intention is to publish short, weekly videos that are easily digestible with clear action items that you can begin doing today. Welcome to Sunday Sales Staples. Today's topic digs deeper into one of the basic things you need to know when you're out there selling, the elevator pitch. In a separate video, I cover the basics of an elevator pitch, which is a 30 to 45-second story of your company, but now we're going to expand on that idea and how to properly structure your elevator pitch. If you didn't already watch the overview video on elevator pitches, then I will link it in the description below. I would recommend watching that video first and then coming back to finish this video. Now, normally I start my videos with a story on different sales topics and then cover the best and worst practices, but today I'm going to jump straight into the template that you can use, the pillars that should be top of mind when crafting the pitch, and finish with an example of a fictional company. Let's get into it. If you research elevator pitches online or ask other sales professionals about their elevator pitches, you're likely to find a wide variety of templates. The template that has worked for me, and which I will outline momentarily, borrows ideas from several templates that I have seen pop up throughout the years. After today's video, I would encourage you to test my template with your current company and start using it while you're in the field or on the phone. My elevator pitch template has 4 parts to it: the attention grabber, the introduction, the value propositions, and the social proof. When you're starting an elevator pitch, you need to grab the attention of your prospect right away. You can start with a line or two describing the status quo of the world and why it's broken. Then move on to your introduction. This is where you cover the why, the how, and the what behind your company's product, solution, or service. Next, you'll add specific value propositions that resonate with your decision maker. And finally, you'll wrap it up with social proof. This is where you will showcase existing companies that are using your product. And as you're crafting specific lines for each section, it's important to keep in mind the pillars of an elevator pitch that are sure to stay in the minds of your prospects. In the book, Made to Stick, authors Chip and Dan Heath outline a storytelling model named Success, SUCCES. I realize that success in this model is missing an S on how it's normally spelled, but that's how the authors drew it up, so don't let that distract you. Going letter by letter, the authors provide a best practice template for anyone and everyone to use. Starting at S, you need to make things simple. This is where you identify the core of your idea. U, unexpected. Most of the time, we can't demand attention from our prospects, we must attract it. Unexpected ideas are more likely to stick because surprise is what makes people pay attention and think. C, concrete. Do not be abstract with your ideas. Only experts can live in the abstract, and when you're dealing with people unfamiliar with your product or solution, you will need to make the idea concrete so that folks will remember it. The second C, credible. Prospects tend to be skeptical when industry experts reach out to them to inquire about their business. To set yourself apart from the pack, you need to bring relevant data to the table that your prospects care about. Anyone can manipulate data in their favor, so be careful with this. Rather than asking a question and digging up the data to support it, dig into the data first and then build a story around what it is telling you. E, emotional. Feelings tend to inspire people to act. If you can make an association between something people care about and something you're trying to tell or sell them, then they will be more inclined to listen. And finally, S, stories. Simulating past events helps showcase a future state with your prospects, and telling stories helps put your prospects in the driver's seat. Now, I should mention 2 things. 1, sharing a story during an elevator pitch is difficult since you only have a limited amount of time, so it's best to share social proof as a story to help the prospect begin to see how your company can help them. And 2, storytelling is a separate topic in and of itself. I will be covering the topic of storytelling in a future video, But for the sake of this video, let's take the template and pillars to craft an example elevator pitch for a fictional company. Let's say you're building an elevator pitch for an advertising technology company called Adverts. Adverts helps brands market to their audiences through the proper channels by supplying these brands with myriad data and metrics on their targets. In this scenario, you're talking to the marketing team at a national brick-and-mortar retail store like Petco. If you're an account executive or a business development manager for Adverts, your elevator pitch wouldn't be something like, "We connect brands with their audiences and it leads to higher engagement." That's too simple, it's boring, and it doesn't inspire a prospect to take action. Rather, it could be something like this. Just because a social channel like TikTok has over 30 million monthly active users doesn't mean that's where your audience lives. In a recent study published by Ad Weekly, businesses are wasting nearly 45% of their advertising budgets by marketing on the incorrect channels to their audiences. Enter Adverts. We exist to help marketing departments solve this issue by connecting them to the right audience in the right channel at the right time. We're able to do this by providing brands with critical consumer data and insights. Adverts isn't another SaaS company that you'll add to your tech stack. Rather, we're a partner that increases engagement rates, returns on ad spend, and revenue. Brands like Target, Best Buy, and Walmart have turned to Adverts as their trusted engagement insights platform. Now, this elevator pitch clocks in around 45 seconds, which is on the longer end of the timing spectrum, but as you can see, it gets the job done. Now let's take this example and let's break it down. In the first two lines of the elevator pitch, we grab the attention of the prospect by giving an overview of the current status of the existing world and its problem. This is where we hit the prospect with something simple and unexpected. We also mention the study from Ad Weekly, which gives us credibility into the problem. Next, we introduce Adverts with the why, how, and what. And in the what section of the elevator pitch, we cover the concrete value propositions that should help make the association as to why your decision maker should care, which is the emotional part of the elevator pitch. And lastly, we end with the social proof that quickly begins to form success stories from others in their industry. That wraps up this week's overview of the elevator pitch template and pillars, and I appreciate you checking out the video. If you want to dig deeper into building elevator pitches for your company or brand, I highly recommend checking out some articles that you can easily find on Google. Some people will have similar ideas to mine, and others will differ. At the end of the day, it's up to you to craft your own elevator pitch strategy, but I do hope there were some key takeaways that you can begin using today. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, sales does not need to be hard or overcomplicated. While sales is becoming vastly more complex with metrics and data, your process does not need to be so convoluted that it isn't easily replicated. Keep coming back to the channel to learn more about how to simplify your process and win new business. And feel free to reach out to me via email at sundaysalesstaples@gmail.com or reach out on Instagram at sundaysalesstaples. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you next week.